Welcome to Partner Yoga Play. So as many people right now are at home and enjoying time with loved ones, doing a little bit of partner yoga is a great way to be able to just enjoy that time together, relieve a little bit of stress, and have a little bit of laughter and fun. So the first thing you're going to want to do is come with your partner seated back to back. Just sit in your most comfortable way, whether that's legs crossed or maybe legs stretched out in front of you, bottoms of your feet on the floor, whatever feels good. As your backs touch, let your eyes close. And just start to tap into the breath. With your eyes closed, maybe you can feel the heat of the other person, the contours of their back. Take a moment to press your awareness out into the pace of their breathing. And see if you could come into a collective breath. So could you match their inhale and their exhale? Take just a couple moments to continue to center the breath that way. And we'll open with a little bit of loving intention for the person you're practicing with today, whether that's a spouse or a child or a friend, or maybe a mom or a dad. Take a moment and create a picture of that person's face in your mind's eye. And as you hold their face in your mind, repeat after me internally. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be filled with peace. When you're ready, start to open your eyes. Inhale to reach your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, everyone's going to twist to their right side. Feel the contour of that person's back against your back. Make sure you're sitting in a comfortable position. You could deepen the connection by walking your hand over to their leg if you'd like. Or if your arm doesn't reach that far, instead on the next inhale, just feel back press against back to lengthen the spine. As you exhale, feel shoulders broaden to deepen the twist. Soften your jaw. Take one more breath here. Inhale, arms reaching back up to the center line. Everyone twists to their left side. And starting to work together as a team now. As you inhale, feel your spine lengthen, but maybe also sending that space into your partner's spine. Now remember, partner yoga is all about communication, non-verbal as well as verbal. So if you're feeling like you need a little bit of relief, or if you're feeling like you need something different, talk to your partner. Check in on them. Are you doing okay? How are you feeling? Take one more breath here. Soften your jaw. As you inhale, bring your arms back to the center line, raising them up and overhead. Exhale your palms down to heart center. Once again, everyone's gonna twist to their right. As you twist to your right, just feel your back roll against each other, and then back to the center, and then twist to the left. Now go at your pace. So as you exhale, twist over to your right, and inhale back to the center, and exhale to your left. One more time, just kind of rolling against each other. Maybe starting to feel how balance shifts a little here and how funny that can be. How it might feel like you're gonna tip over, but no, at that last moment, your partner kind of saves you. Then come back to the center line and let your hands drop down to your knees. Slowly separating yourself from your partner, walk your fingers out in front of you. You can, of course, undo that crossing of your ankles if that doesn't feel good. Now take a moment to feel the absence of your partner. Close your eyes and get a little more introverted here. Forward folds are always a good space to be introverted, coming back into your own thoughts, into your own breath. Acknowledging that to be a good partner, we have to care for ourselves as well. And take a moment and focus on your own face in your mind. Repeat after me internally. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. Or maybe even take it more internal and say to yourself, may I be happy. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. Slowly walk those fingers back in and come back to seated. Now very gently with yourself, everyone turning the same direction, come to your tabletop position, your hands and knees. And as you come into that hands and knees space, as you inhale, flare your tailbone back, drop your belly down, send your eye gaze to neutral. As you exhale, tuck and roll through your spine, coming into that cat stretch. Do that again, or if there's something else that feels better, do that instead. And then slowly coming back to that neutral space, feel the leg that's in the center line reach back behind you. So the leg that's closest to your partner reaches all the way back. As you exhale, pull that knee back in towards your chest. Give it a little squeeze in. Again, inhale it back and behind. You can always put a blanket underneath the opposing knee. Exhale this time, squeeze that knee either in the center line or around the outside of the hand to step it through. Good. When you're ready, tuck the back toes under, lifting your back knee up. And you're gonna twist to face your partner. So you're twisting over that leg that's in the center line, raising the opposing arm up, maybe giving your partner a high five. Excellent. Pause here, breathing. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Deep inhale. Long exhale. And slowly bringing that hand that's in their center line back down. Lower the back knee and move back to tabletop. Just watch out for your neighbor. Take a big hip shake from side to side. Let it go. And then you're gonna pick one partner to come into child's pose, facing towards the center of the mat. So take a moment and decide who's gonna come into child's pose. So you'll face towards the midline and just kind of sit back on your heels. And then the second partner is gonna stand in front of the child's pose person so they can hook their hands around their ankles. So take a step forward and look at your mom's ankles and hook your hands around her ankles. Now this standing partner is gonna come into a forward fold and give a nice little back rub to the partner that's in child's pose. Maybe that's just lightly sprinkling your fingers on their back. Maybe you're giving them a little yoga assist here. Remember that the partner who's in that half forward fold is also being very gentle to themselves, bending the knees as much as they need to, keeping the low belly tucked in, and sharing the breath here. Remember to communicate with your partner if there's anything you need. No one is to be the person that sacrifices here. Everyone is the supporter. And slowly the person in the forward fold walks hands back in, onto their thighs, bend their knees, and come up in a supported way all the way to standing once again. And as they exhale, bringing the hands to heart center, the person in child's pose is going to turn and face away from the original direction. So facing away from the camera, turning all the way around, and come into child's pose facing away. And then the second partner is going to do the same, facing in the same direction, coming into child's pose. Same thing. And when you're ready, coming back to that tabletop position. That leg that's in the midline, the leg that's closest to your partner, reaches all the way out and back. Exhale, pull that knee in towards your chest. Tight, tight, tight. Inhale, reach it all the way back. Of course, support under the knees as much as you need. Exhale, either pull it through the midline or around that hand as you step it to the midline. Tuck your back toes under, lift that back knee up, and take a twist towards your partner. Again, maybe you give that high five in the center. Good. Remember that back leg is your rudder, so it's the thing that's going to keep you from tipping over. Maybe you look at your partner if that makes you giggle. Maybe you look down at your hand, or maybe you need a giggle right now, so that's perfectly fine. Find your strength from the person next to you. If they tip over and fall, it's okay. You're right there to grab them, to bring them back up. And as you exhale, bring that hand that's in the center line back down to the mat. Lower your back knee down, and then move back to tabletop. Take a big hip sway from side to side, or if you'd like a little cat-cow or something else here. And then we'll reverse the partner that's in child's pose. So if the other person comes into child's pose facing to the center line of the mat, and that second partner is going to be the standing forward fold. So the child's pose partner will grab ankles with the standing forward fold partner. Take a moment. Remember, knees can be tender here, so support under the knees as much as is needed. And as that forward fold partner starts to give a little massage to the back of that child's pose partner, maybe try to match your breathing with the other person once again. Remember, communicate as much as needed here. It could be just a little light drag of the fingers on their back, or it could be anchoring your hands on the back of their pelvis and giving them a slight press back towards their heels. But remember, the person who's standing should also practice a great deal of care, bending the knees, zippering in that low belly, doing what feels authentic to them. Take 2 more breaths right here. And then the partner that's in that half forward fold, walking hands back to thighs, bending the knees and starting to rise back up. Take your time. And the partner that's in child's pose, walking back to tabletop, turning to face back to the original front of their mat or back towards the audience. Everybody coming into tabletop position, both partners finding their way there. Again, finding a little shake out of the head or the hips, or whatever might needs to be done. And then coming facing one another in a seated position this time. We'll practice a partner boat pose. So it's gonna work a little like this. Come scooted far back enough to put your feet to the center line of the mat, stepping the bottoms of your feet to the floor. Hands go down by your hips at first, and then just practice putting your right foot into the center line. Just lift your right foot and put it into the center line. Find your balance. Yep, and then switch and take the opposite. Good, and then do it again. Back stays nice and long, switch. Good, and switch. Just finding those little abdominal muscles, and switch. And switch. Excellent. Now take the same side to the center line. So you're going to mirror your partner. So one person will have their right foot in the middle, one person will have their left foot in the middle. You guys discuss who that's gonna be. Now give that little push to your partner. Let them feel how strong you are. And then switch the foot that's in the midline. Good, and then you're gonna keep your knees bent and walk both feet onto your partner. So bottoms of the feet towards one another, hands walk behind you a little bit. Give yourself that support. Zipper in that low belly, feel those quadricep muscles working here, a little burn of the quads perhaps. And then slowly rest your heels down to the earth, take your time. Now, as you start to practice that full partner boat pose, scoot your hips in towards the midline just a little bit. Now you're gonna start with bent knees first. So as you go back into that space, anchoring your hands behind you, keep those knees bent and try to raise your feet up in line with your knees. Good, finding that little bridge between the two people. Keep breathing. Keep that focus on your breath. And now notice if you could straighten your legs all the way out, maybe finding that extension of the knees, zippering that low belly. Maybe you offer your partner a smile because this is tough. They're making it look easy, but this is actually very difficult. And then slowly bending the knees again and working it back down. Good, and then scooting a little closer to your partner again. This time we're gonna try to link hands with one another. So again, find that sense of play. Maybe you're out in the grass. You're gonna start with bent knees and you're gonna communicate. So make eye contact with your partner and let them know when you're ready to start to press those feet to the midline. Only you know that the best. So linking those hands, remember, everybody's arm length is a little different. So you may have to slide it out to fingertips. Maybe one person slides out to fingertips. Tip back just enough to lift those feet. Good, maybe you straighten them all the way out. Yes, and then start to breathe. Inhaling, you're breathing in. Exhaling, you're finding those little wobbles together, just like we do in life. We travel through those little wobbles with our family. Zipper that low belly and slowly releasing all the way down. Let it go. Give your partner a little high five. Excellent work. And then turn and come laying all the way down on your back with the bottoms of your feet towards what originally was the top of your mat. As you roll yourself all the way down, take a moment to lengthen the legs out, reach the arms overhead, and just take a big stretch in two opposite directions, letting the low back lift off of the earth, especially after that abdominal work that you just did. And as you exhale, make yourself into that little yoga ball, tucking those knees in, taking a little rock from side to side. And when you're ready, tip over away from your neighbor, away from your partner, so tipping to the outer edge of your mat. Give yourself just that moment. Again, you're finding your own space. And putting your free hand down, slowly roll back up to your tabletop position. You'll be facing away from the camera, but that's okay. Take a moment to tuck your toes, slide your hands forward, and come into that downward facing dog shape. Pedal those feet out, a few deep knee bends. And then lift the leg that's furthest away from your partner. Exhale, pull that knee in towards your chest. Give it a little squeeze. Inhale, once again, lift that knee. Stretch that foot all the way back. And exhale, pull that knee into the midline. Step the foot down, wherever it lands is great, rising up to your high crescent pose. Good. And then exhale, open to warrior two, facing towards your partner. As you roll that back heel down 90 degrees. Excellent. Now straighten through your forward leg and turn all 10 toes towards your partner. Heel toe in a few times as we practice a partner squat. So reach your right hand to the midline. I know it's gonna seem like you're taking it across, and grasp your partner's wrist. Exactly. Now reach your other hand behind you, like you were gonna set it down as a tripod on the floor. Reach it all the way out behind like you were gonna touch the ground, and then start to squat back. Reach your hips back away from your partner as you pull to the midline. So bend your knees and squat all the way back. Yes, perfect. See if your partner can help you catch. Yes, and then rise back up to the center line and switch the hand that's in the middle. Again, little trust fall moment here. Your partner has got you. Use those biceps. Communicate, bend your knees, and sit back and squat. Good, and then come back up to the center line. Switch the hand that's in the middle, and we'll do that again. Squatting all the way back, and maybe finding that hold this time for 3 breaths. 2 more breaths. Finding that partner malasana or squat pose. Coming back up to the center line, switching the hand that's in the midline. Not a bad workout for a little partner yoga, coming back into that partner squat or malasana. Again, maybe you're challenging your partner. I know it's a balance challenge to see how far you can sit back. Again, nobody's sacrificing, so if your knees are feeling a little tight today, maybe you're the partner that stays standing a little higher. Take 1 more big breath here. And press the floor away and rise back up. Open your arms out to the sides, and then turn your toes back towards the sound of my voice, so towards the front edge of your mat, and come into your warrior 2 on the other side, bending into that forward knee. Good. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Soften the jaw. Big inhale, long exhale. Excellent work. Inhale, straighten through that forward leg. Turn all 10 toes towards one another again. Again, link that same hand through the midline. So maybe right hand touches right hand. Drop the hand behind you, and let's see if we can go all the way down to malasana this time. So turn those toes out a little and see if you can drop all the way down. If not, no big deal. Again, communicate with your partner. Check in with them. Say, are you okay? Good, and then rising back up, take your time, switch hands in the midline, and come down. Maybe it's that deeper malasana. Again, maybe one person stays a little higher than the other. Pay close attention to knees today. You guys are killing this. Slowly rise back up, coming back into that standing space. Open those arms out like a 5-point star. Deep inhale, long exhale. And now step your feet together and turn around and face away from your neighbor. So as you face away from your partner, you're gonna once again take that big wide step out. So maybe all the way out 4 or 5 feet. Again, little trust fall here. Remember, everybody's got a booty in this situation, so we're gonna be cognizant of that. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, tip from your hip and forward fold. Just finding that forward fold, boop. There you go. Good. And then walk your hands to the floor. Rock a little body weight forward into the balls of your feet. Turn your heels wider than your toes. And again, maybe a little trust moment. Could you reach down and link hands with your partner? Good. The battle of the booties. Here we go. Now maybe you do that little sway. You kind of pull one person through the midline and then the other, or maybe you're happy to just stay where you are. Again, communicate with your neighbor and say, does this feel okay? Does this feel good? And then adjust accordingly. And then find a moment, come into stillness. Maybe drop hands with your partner and drop your hands to the floor. Maybe you stay looking back at them, or maybe you close your eyes here as you take a little inversion. Acknowledge that hard work that you've done. When you're ready, slowly walk your hands forward, just out under your eye gaze, firm through your low belly, bend your knees, walk your hands to your hips, and rise back up. Again, remember that your partner is there. You guys did that so effortlessly. Good job. Excellent work. I know that's tough. Now turn your toes that are furthest away from me all the way out towards that short edge of your mat, and bend your knee coming into that warrior 2 once again, opening the arms out to the side. Now could you back towards the midline of your mat enough that you could kind of link your arms with your partner? So you might even have to wiggle your feet back and link your arms with your partner. Good. We're gonna practice a little reverse here. So your back hand drops and your front hand lifts. Excellent. And we'll do that twice again. So dropping back into warrior two, reaching long, and then lifting the front arms, dropping the back hands, and coming back into warrior two. And one more time, dropping your hands back, lifting your arms up, and coming back into that warrior two. Straighten through that forward leg. We're just gonna reverse to the other side. So turn those toes to the long edge, turn the opposing toes out so you're back towards me, towards the camera. And then dropping the back hand, flipping the front palms, lifting up, and coming back out into your warrior two. And we'll do that again, lifting up, finding that exalted warrior, and coming back out into warrior two. One more time, dropping back. Maybe you find a little tiny hold here. Again, communicate with your partner. Make sure everybody's feeling good. Beautiful. Come back out into that warrior two. Release your hands from one another. Good. Inhale to straighten through that forward leg. Turn all 10 toes again. And remember your partner's there as you tip down and find that forward fold again. I know. This time, walk your hands around towards me, towards the sound of my voice, towards the camera or the front of your mat, and start to pivot into that runner's lunge. Step both feet back into your plank position from wherever you've been. Take a moment if you'd like to take a vinyasa, or if you'd like to lower into child's pose, maybe rocking forward, taking chaturanga, inhaling to upward facing dog, and then exhale, you find yourself in downward facing dog once again. Pedal those feet out, do a few deep knee bends here. And then again, you're gonna lift that leg that's to the outside, and pull that knee in towards your chest. Give it a good tight pull. One more time, lift it all the way up and back. As you exhale, pull that knee up the center line, give it a good crunch. Turn the angle of your shin and settle into pigeon pose on this side. So your foot's gonna come towards your neighbor, and then that leg that's in the midline is going to be stretching back and behind you. Inhale, lift up through that heart space. And as you exhale, coming into that forward fold, maybe walking elbows down to the earth. Maybe you have a prop in front of you. Maybe resting your forehead to the floor. Or if you'd like to take a twist, you could take your hand that's furthest from your neighbor and thread it through the midline, reaching out for your neighbor. So you're turning to face one another. And reaching that other arm up and overhead, taking that little twist. Release hands with your neighbor if you're linked together, walking it back out. And then walking your hands back in towards that shin, you're going to rock onto that hip. So you're facing the midline. Stretch both legs out so the bottoms of your feet are towards your neighbor's foot. So you're doing a bit of a straddle here. Perfect. Now, your same hand links through the midline. So reach right hand for right hand once again. And then reach left arm up and over. And you're just gonna take a twist. So you're just gonna kind of do a little washing machine action. So you're just gonna kind of rock towards the midline. So you're gonna come in and out, exactly. So come in like you're gonna clap hands and twist away. And come in like you're gonna clap hands and twist away. And come in like you're gonna clap hands and twist away. This time as you come in, grasp that opposite hand and release with the other. Now do the same thing on the other side. Reach out and away and come in like you're gonna clap hands and reach out and away. Good, come in like you're gonna clap. Find that little twist, reach out and away. Come in like you're gonna give a high five and reach out and away. One more time. Good, this time grasp both hands. As you inhale, send your spine long. As you exhale, decide who's gonna bend their elbows to pull the other partner into a forward fold. Good. Communicate with your partner. Partner one is using their biceps super strong here. Again, keep a little bend in the knee. And then when you're ready, come up and switch the partner. So as you exhale, partner two bends their elbows, uses their strong biceps. And partner one comes into their fold. Being gentle to the knees. Communicate with one another as you start to come up. Take your time. Releasing hands, giving that partner a thank you. All you're gonna do is come into pigeon facing the other way. So walking your hands over, you're gonna go that direction. And bringing that opposing leg back in front. Yep, your feet come towards the center line, same leg to the midline as your partner, just like that. Inhale, your heart goes high. You should be on your other side for your pigeon. If you're not, make sure you even it out. Exhale, maybe you find your fold. If you'd like to, again, link with your partner through the midline. Remember that hand that's furthest away from them reaches to the center, and you take that little twist in towards the midline. Maybe your eyes are closed, or maybe you're looking at your partner. Release your hand from your partner if you have it, slowly walking the fingers back in towards that front shin. Again, you're going to roll to the midline, so you're gonna tip onto that hip so you're facing your partner. This time, coming to a comfortable cross-legged seated position with your knees touching your partner's knees, or whatever that looks like for you in your practice. And then everyone twisting to their right. Good. Maybe you take your hand and touch your partner's knee. Maybe you thread that arm that's behind you, behind your back, and reach for your partner's hand. If it touches, great. If not, also fine. Inhale to send the heart high. Exhale to broaden the shoulders. Beautiful. Making it look so easy. Again, find that space for breath. Find that connection with another person. Slowly coming back to the midline. Everyone twisting to their left this time. Maybe you walk your hand onto your partner's knee. That could be where you stay. Maybe you start to thread that support arm behind your back, reaching, perhaps even touching your partner's hand as your arms form that X in the midline. Inhale, send that heart tall. Exhale to take your twist. Communicate with your partner here, even if it's non-verbal communication. That could be a little light squeeze of your hand. And then slowly release back to the midline. When you're ready, starting to come so that you're in your tabletop position once again. So switching over so you're facing the original front edge of your mat. Again, wiggling those hips from side to side, or if you need a child's pose, or if you need a down dog, finding that moment to play and be yourself. Now, if you have a spotter for this next part, that makes it all the better. If not, make sure you're in a really soft area in your grass, somewhere that you can play. So Kelly's gonna turn to the midline of the mats and stay in her tabletop. And Amanda, you're gonna stand up for just a minute. Good, so Kelly is gonna tuck her toes under and come into downward facing dog. And you're gonna turn and face the opposite direction from your mom and do a handstand here. So you're going to bring your hands onto the floor just in front of your mom's hands, and you're gonna walk your feet up onto her back. So they're gonna come right to her pelvis. So tuck your toes under and step up onto the back of her pelvis. Good, so really tuck your toes and come into a place where you're stepping on the back of her. Yeah, and then walk them up towards her Lululemon symbol, just a little. There you go. Now, maybe you could straighten your legs out, communicate with your partner, keep your arms straight. No, so it's just straighten your knees. So press your mom away. Yeah, that gives her a good adjustment too. Good work. Now communicate with your partner, because this is work for everybody, a little less work for the down dog person. When you're ready, just step one foot out to the side and then the other to come down. Or if you're feeling really brave, you could hop both feet down. Beautiful. And then we're just gonna switch partners. So if you wanna turn around and come to that downward facing dog, and then Kelly can come into that handstand. So you're gonna put your hands in front of her hands, Kelly, and you're gonna walk your feet onto her lower back, not onto those sensitive vertebrae. You're gonna come into that space where you're stepping your toes onto the back of her pelvis. So you should feel that bony ridge up here. Good. You remember the down dog person can bend their knees as much as they need to really get comfortable. It should feel like a good adjustment. Remember to communicate with your partner here. Check in, make sure everything's okay. Now the handstand person should really have as straight arms as they can as they step their feet out to the side to protect their partner. Excellent work. When you're ready, come so that Kelly is seated on the mat facing towards the midline. Nice long straight legs, just like seated staff pose. Good. And we're gonna go a little next level here. So turn and face away from your mom once again. And you're gonna put your hands down just shy of her feet, and you're gonna walk your ankles up onto her shoulders, and she's gonna put her hands up to help guide your ankles up onto her shoulders. So 1 foot at a time. Yep. Hold her ankles so that you can have control. So one person's planking, one person is staff posing. Now, this is a tough one, so give yourself that breath. Deep inhales, long exhales. This is a lot of core work for both partners. Remember that person in staff pose or the seated pose can always bend their knees to take a little pressure off the lower back. Now communicate with one another. Kelly, you're probably gonna wanna help her bring one ankle down at a time since she's been in that hold. Good, and then just walk it in and switch partners. Excellent. Getting a little sweatier, getting a little more daring with our acro poses. So now partner number 2 is just going to put their hands directly into partner number 1's feet, just in front of them. As you start to progress this, of course, you can grab the other person's ankles, but again, it takes a little bit more core strength to go there. Person 2 is gonna grab the ankles and come into that plank. And then communication is key here. So the person who's seated can always bend their knees, sit up as tall as they can, zippering in that low belly. Everybody's working. Find a little relaxation in the jaw. Maybe together sweating into that core strength space. Taking 2 more breaths. And then the partner who's seated is gonna guide the planking partner's legs down away from the shoulders. Take that time and start to walk it in. Everybody comes back to their own mat and find a child's pose. Bravo. Now, Kelly, I'm gonna have you stay in child's pose, and Amanda, you're going to come up and kind of take a nice little seat on your mom's lower back. You're gonna go all the way down to the back of her pelvis, facing away from me, and have a seat. Now, you're just gonna communicate with her about how much is too much, and you're gonna walk your feet out in front of you like you were sitting in a proper chair. Now, with your mom's communication, you're gonna roll back onto her back. Good, so walk your hands to the floor as soon as you get back far enough that you can. So walk them all the way down to the floor. Good, now maybe taking this reverse table, you can lean all the way back onto mom. Scoot your hips down now so that your heads are close to each other. And Kelly, communicate with her if that's too much. You can even stretch your legs out. Kelly, you can put a little oomph in your child's pose too and kind of create a cat spine if you want to give her a little bit more of a back bend. Yeah, you see her heart lift. And if she was still a little kid, that's probably the place where you play like bucking bronco or something. But since we're not in that space anymore, slowly communicate with each other. You're gonna use a little bit of core strength to start to walk yourself back out, and Kelly, you're gonna help her. So start to walk back to your tabletop too. Good job, my friends. And then we're just gonna switch. So you're gonna come to your child's pose with partner number 2, and just find that little back bend. You don't have to sink into your full child's pose, of course, if you're not sure if you can take that additional bend in your knees. Just communicate or if the person can't lean all the way back without taking too much of a tumble, remember you'll keep scooting down until you can reach your hands for the floor. Coming into that reverse table first. Remember, this is a little next level, so if you need a spotter, please grab an additional family member or practice this on the grass. Yeah, Kelly, you could reach your arms all the way up and overhead. She's offering you a lot of support. Maybe you can even grab her wrists or hands and stretch all the way forward. Yeah, so a little more full wheel even. Communicate with each other. Maybe Kelly, stretch your legs out and walk them long. And when you're ready, slowly walk those feet in. Take as much time as you need to. Walk your hands back to the floor. And then you're gonna start to rise together. So slowly walking it back up, helping each other out. Good work. And then everyone's gonna come back to their own mat, laying all the way down on your back this time. Doesn't matter which direction you face. You can face in towards one another. You can both face in the same direction. Take a minute to draw your knees in towards your chest and give yourself that little rock from side to side. And opening your arms out to the side, take your knees away from one another as you take a little gentle twist here. Look back to the midline to look at your partner. Maybe your arms are like goalposts or goddess, or maybe you link hands. And as you exhale, bring the knees back to the center line. Scooting your hips if you need to, bring your knees back to the middle towards your partner as you look away from them. Taking one final twist. And then roll your entire body towards the midline so you're lying in your modified fetal position facing one another. And take one more big inhale. And a long exhale here. As you press yourself up with your supportive hand, come back to seated facing away from one another, just like you started the practice. This time, one person is going to open their legs all the way out into a straddle, and the other person is going to bring the bottoms of their feet to the mat. Knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Now the person in the straddle is going to walk their hands forward into a fold, and the person with their feet flat on the mat is just going to drop back into a little back bend. Communicate with one another. Let the other person know if it's too much. And start to coordinate your breathing. And the person with knees bent is going to walk their hands back onto their thighs, tuck the chin in, rolling back up as the other partner walks it back in. And then switch. Again, communicating with one another. You can always bring your hands behind your head if that partner who is in the forward fold has a deeper forward fold than your back bend goes. Or you can put a little rolled towel behind the back of the head. When you're ready, coordinating together, slowly walk it back up and in. Then come into that comfortable cross-legged seated position, facing away from one another. Close your eyes. Once again, start to coordinate your breathing. We're gonna practice what's called bee breath here. So partner number one is going to start to make a little sound. And partner number two is going to match that bee breath. And then find that rest. When your bee breath comes to a close, let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw relax. Just acknowledging the other person, their breath. Sharing this moment together. Create an image of your partner's face in your mind's eye and send them love. With eyes still closed, press your palms together at heart center, holding an image of yourself and your partner in your mind, dipping your chin down towards the tips of your fingers, acknowledging the practice you shared. Acknowledging that light in the other person and in yourself.